Hey everyone, back again with another video. Um, as I was getting ready to do my Lego Dimensions Part 2 thing, in between that, we had this thing where Xbox or Microsoft decided to show off their new specs for the final specs for the new Microsoft Scorpio, and I was like, I'll make a video on that. Um, as someone who has a pretty good PC, like PC is my main machine right now. I got an Xbox, as you can see um, on the TV back here, but that's just for like, well, that was back then. I got it back then when they said, oh, well, we're gonna have Halo 5 exclusive and Gears. I really like those two series, so I was like, okay, the Xbox is gonna be my Halo and Gears machine, and but it turns out I played Gears here on my PC, and uh, so yeah, I heard somewhere, I read on Twitter or somewhere that this apparently is gonna be equivalent to a GTX 1070. I got a 970 right now, and I'm thinking about upgrading to 1080 Ti maybe. But anyway, that's the thing. Uh, I thought this was gonna be a complete reveal. Apparently, it's just the specs, so it really doesn't. Uh, I know it's not that big a deal. Maybe, I don't know. Let's first watch it and let's see what you know what all the hype is about. Let's see.
Well, the moment has finally arrived. Yes, I'm going to exclusively reveal the Project Scorpio specs in this video. But first of all, I want to emphasize how kind of unprecedented this all is. Now, usually I find out about new console specs from industry contacts, but this time, Microsoft actually invited me out to its Redmond campus to meet the architects of the system, to talk through the specs and to get the whole story there. Now, bearing in mind that Scorpio is going to be a Q4 console release, this is really, really early. In all of my years in the business, I've never seen
So you're not
anything
gonna show
like
us
it.
the boxes.
So let's talk about the heart of the system, the Scorpio engine, as it's known. This is the SoC, system on chip, at the heart of the console. It contains all of the core hardware,
Okay.
CPU, GPU, memory controllers, audio block, and audio video media
You
processors.
probably noticed that
And
also I
here
got
it
a
is in
nice new
person.
camera. Looks
And
pretty nice.
this is actually an early production chip straight off the production line. A really nice memento from my trip.
Got the
It's a
4K in
16
there.
nanometer FinFET chip produced by the giant TSMC. So about 360 millimeters square with 7 billion transistors. Okay, so let's talk specifics here, and we'll start with one of the biggest points of controversy in the current gen console designs, the CPU. Now, back when I did my Scorpio spec analysis in the wake of its E3 teaser last year, I pegged the new console as retaining the same Jaguar cores as the Xbox One, but with an upclock in place. Mainly because the Scorpio engine would already be big owing to the large GPU size, and also because, well, Microsoft promised 8 CPU cores, which sort of rules out anything else. Plenty of speculation surrounded a Ryzen implementation, which I always thought unlikely, but the truth is, well, actually a little bit more complicated. Now, strictly speaking, you could say that I got it right.
Oh
Scorpio
man,
does
those
indeed
original
use an evolved
360s
version of the
behind them
Jaguar
take me
core.
back.
Just like Xbox One, there are 2 quad-core clusters there with a total of 4 megabytes of L2 cache, and frequency has been upgraded from 1.75 gigahertz to 2.3 gigahertz. That's a 31% uplift. Microsoft, though, has targeted optimizations at the silicon level aimed at improving coherency between CPU and GPU, and it has targeted lower latency as a priority. Now, if the processor cores can't access data from memory owing to bottlenecks in the pipeline, it effectively stalls.
Honestly,
So increased frequency and lower latency
it wasn't really
are key
power
to the
the
custom
problem with the
CPU
Xbox
improvements
One.
here.
It
But there
was
is more. Now,
honestly it was
at the front
the
end of the
the
GPU sits
launch,
the command processor,
the
which kind of
announcement,
takes the instructions
everything
from the
around it just seemed
CPU
to be
and,
the
well,
problem.
processes them.
It wasn't
And here's
really
where
the
things get
power.
really interesting. Microsoft's engineers have effectively made a hardware implementation of
Will this
DirectX
move
12
the
integrated directly into the
needle and
GPU
say
graphic
like it's gonna
processor.
catch up to the
Broad-core
PS4?
instructions
I
on a
don't think
CPU
so.
that would typically require thousands of instructions are now reduced to just 11. Yes, 11. State changes that are also heavy on CPU are now cut down to just 9. Microsoft tells me that this custom hardware alteration should drop CPU rendering workload by half on titles built on DX12 renderers. Games like Star Wars Battlefront, Battlefield 1, Gears of War 4 and the latest Forza titles, for example. Audio processing can be CPU intensive too, and this can also be offloaded to the dedicated silicon on the Scorpio engine. Well, the APB, as it's called, the audio processing block, is actually the same core hardware as that found in Xbox One. Now, here's some good news. Spatial audio in the form of Dolby Atmos and Dolby Atmos for headphones is going to be supported for Scorpio, effectively adding a height component to 7.1 surround. As the silicon is unchanged, all Xbox owners, whether you're using the original one, the One S, or indeed Scorpio, will benefit from this upgrade. Next up, let's talk
Okay.
GPU. Okay, so last year Microsoft promised us 6 teraflop graphics hardware, a huge upgrade over Xbox One's 1.31 teraflops, and even an impressive boost over
There you go.
PS4 Pro's
There come the
4.2,
teraflops.
effectively meaning
It's like the
complete
new
Scorpio dominance
bit
over all
wars
key parts
of
of the
8-bit,
processing specification.
16-bit,
Now, I can
32-bit,
confirm that
64-bit.
6TF has been delivered, no more, no less, but how they've done it is nothing short of remarkable. Now, regular viewers may recall that I came up with the notion of a very large GPU with 56 or 60 AMD compute units running at fairly slow clocks, based on the kind of constraints we've seen on Xbox One, PS4 and of course the Pro. The truth is, Microsoft has broken free of those constraints in ways I'm not sure anybody could have anticipated, certainly not me. So, to cut to the chase, Scorpio only has 40 compute units. But these are clocked very, very highly, 1172 megahertz to be precise. That's up against 853 megahertz on the OG Xbox One and 911 on PS4 Pro. So compared to the new Sony console, that's an additional 11% of Radeon hardware, but a 27% boost to frequency. Combined,
I really
this
wonder
gives
what the
Scorpio
hell
a
all this is gonna
43%
amount
compute
to. Like,
advantage. Next up, memory. Lots of controversy here when Microsoft promised bandwidth in the region of 320 gigabytes per second. Would they use GDDR5? Would they go for faster G5X? Would we see a continuation of ESRAM? Well, back in the original specs reveal, we thought Microsoft would opt for a 384-bit memory interface paired with 12 modules of GDDR5. I mean, you could actually see it on the motherboard render that Microsoft put out last year, and that's a render that turned out to be pretty close to final hardware. So, what's the score here? Pretty much what we thought actually. 6.8 gigahertz G5 modules on a 384-bit interface, 12 of those modules in total, offering up a grand total of 326 gigabytes of bandwidth. 8 gigs of the 12 total is available to game makers, up against 5 on the original Xbox One. So that's a 60% boost in available memory for games. However, system reservation has also gone up. It's increased by 1 gigabyte to 4 gigs.
damn.
So,
Okay.
Scorpio's dashboard, well, now that can render at native 4K, something that wasn't possible on Xbox One S. Okay, so Microsoft has delivered, or indeed over-delivered, on all promises thus far. But part of the reason I was invited to their HQ to talk to the people who made Scorpio was to understand that this is more than just a collection of off-the-shelf AMD parts. There's customization here. Deep customization and a lot of it. So Scorpio is
Well, the numbers are pretty
refresh,
much,
right?
you know,
This actually gave
saying
the
it's
development team a key
better than a
advantage
Pro.
they've never had before. They could profile existing
But
Xbox
again,
One games,
I
see
don't know.
what
I
the
feel
bottlenecks were
I
on
keep
the existing hardware, and before
I get
any
excited
silicon was even
for
fabricated,
new
they could
consoles
use
always, you know,
hardware
as
emulators to see how this game code actually
I always get
performed.
excited for new
And then from
consoles,
there,
but
they could rebalance the hardware to achieve optimal performance.
it always just
And more
comes
than
back
that,
down.
once they
It
had
comes
that final
back
balance, they could actually
to the games.
customize
Like, if
key
they don't
areas
have
of the
games
GPU to eliminate
that
engine
people want or
game-specific
something,
bottlenecks. In fact, I'm told that there are around 60 specific
and
targeted customizations throughout the GPU
do
pipeline.
you
Again,
know,
this is
like
unprecedented.
this generation
Hardware
seems
usually
set.
defines
Like
software, but this time the Microsoft team could
there are so
approach
many
things
PS4s out there
from the
that
other direction, optimizing the
how is this gonna
silicon
move the
based
needle?
on the
Like
way that game engines and game developers actually creating their games. The question is, would this pay off? I mean, we were promised native 4K gaming here, something you wouldn't really expect in the PC space from a 6 teraflop GPU. Well, here's Forza Motorsport 6 running on Xbox One. It's 1080p, 60 frames per second, and pretty much one of the best looking games available for the system. Back in mid-January, production parts for Project Scorpio started to arrive at Microsoft HQ. These were cobbled together at Turn 10 Studio down the road into something that sort of resembled an early prototype console. The Forza engine was ported to Scorpio in just 2 days. And, well, straight off the bat, it worked. It worked just out of the gate, something that blew the Turn 10 tech team away, something that generally just
okay,
doesn't tend to happen this quickly. And not only did it
that's
just
I guess that's
work,
good.
but it was
Sure.
fast, brutally fast, without the benefit of any platform-specific optimization. And here's a screenshot of the demo in action. This is taken from the Nürburgring GP circuit with the maximum amount of cars possible in order to stress test the engine. Good news is it's hitting 4K at 60
I bet
frames per second
this video is
effortlessly.
not gonna give
Take a
me what
look
I
at the
want.
GPU utilization at the top
What
there,
everyone wants. Like, I mean,
66.19%. Now, I personally have seen this
sure,
demo
I do
running
want
on
to know if
Scorpio
it's better
hardware,
than a
and the
PS4. Well,
utilization
actually,
does
no. Like,
vary.
I actually
I saw
don't.
it drop as low as
I'm not
55% with
comparing it to
fewer
a
cars
PS4
on
Pro
screen,
because
and it can go as high as, say,
what's
70%.
making me want to get
But
a
the point is
PS4,
that
it's
this
its
is
games,
a
like the
straight
exclusive games,
Xbox One
Uncharted,
port. The only Scorpio
Neo,
enhancement is the resolution
Ratchet and
and the
Clank.
inclusion of 4K art assets. This
There's
means that
so many
yes,
games I'm
you
missing
will
out because
see
I don't have a
1080p
PS4.
Xbox One games running at native
And
4K
a
on
more
Scorpio.
powerful
But
Xbox,
more than
the
that,
only
the
thing it's
fact that the
gonna move
hardware
for
is kind
me,
of
or the only
underutilized
thing that
means
it's
that there's
gonna,
a ton of GPU power left
you
over
know,
for
make me
making the game
either
look
buy
much better. So I'm
this.
putting a video together based on my Turn 10 visit, but
Well, what
here's
I'm trying to
something
get
that
at is
could be
that
improved
it's
straight
either
off the
I'm
bat.
looking at
Zooming into the
the
road
future
here,
and I'm
you can see the
thinking,
same texture
like I said,
filtering
I've got
you
a
tend to
GTX
see on
970 and
Xbox
it's,
One and PS4
it's
games.
fine.
And
It
well, this
runs
is to be
games super
expected
well.
because
Mass
it
Effect,
is
I think,
straightforward. Improving this
defaulted
is no problem
to
with Scorpio's
high
GPU
settings, and
power
that's
and
pretty good.
memory bandwidth. Now, I've
Um,
got some details coming up
but
on how Turn
looking
10 dialed up the settings
for
and how well
when I'm
Scorpio
looking
copes.
towards
So yeah,
upgrading.
subscribe to the channel and look out for that.
Uh,
Now, here's the
okay,
thing,
we're not
this
done
is
here.
just one game, of course. But you know what? Based on what I saw here, the concept of the amazing looking Forza
So what I'm
Horizon
looking
3 running
forward
at
to
native
is either
4K
upgrading my
30 at
PC
something
or buying
approaching
a
the
Scorpio.
PC's ultra
That's
settings
the
doesn't seem
that's the
outlandish.
choice I
I
have
can't
in
wait to
front
see
of me
what the team has come up
and
with
what this
for the
video should be
inevitable
making
Forza
me
Motorsport 7. Now, I
do,
haven't seen anything else
it's like
running on Scorpio, but I'm
Scorpio
told that
really
the
needs to convince
scalability
me
offered
to
by the new
switch
hardware in
over
terms of
back to
running
consoles
1080p and even 900p
and just use
engines
my
at
computer
4K
for like
is there on other
again
titles, other
either
engines. And in
exclusives
actual
and
fact,
for
Microsoft
making
is indeed
videos.
aiming for 900p games to run natively at 4K too. Now
And
this
I
will
mean it would
take
help
more
me
work, but they
because
reckon it's doable based on all the
for
profiling they've done. But
videos,
you know,
for
there's
making
actually
videos, it's always
more to
best
the
to
story
have,
here. I mean, looking back at those
a
specs,
dedicated
the fact
machine
that
to play the
Scorpio is
games and a
running its
dedicated
GPU
machine
at
to either
1172 megahertz
record or
clock
stream.
is pretty
Right
huge.
now,
The GPU design has features
for
derived from
the games I
AMD's
play on my
Polaris
PC,
technology, which,
I'll
you know, in
have the
PC
PC
terms is
running the game
basically the
and
Radeon
doing the.
RX 480. Now this has 36 compute units versus Scorpio's 40. It's a smaller chip because it's a dedicated GPU, not a complete SoC, system on chip. Max boost 1266 megahertz, just 94 megahertz faster than Scorpio. So yeah, I couldn't quite believe that Microsoft has squeezed that much frequency out of a console part. I mean, how did they do that? Well, I actually met up with members of the hardware design team and got some answers. So it turns out that
So if I had my
efficiency in
Scorpio
the
playing
Scorpio design
my
isn't just baked
games,
in
my
at
main
CPU level,
games
it's
like
there
the
throughout the
AAA
entire
games that
box.
are
So
coming
here's the
out, the
thing,
new ones,
Microsoft
and my
implemented what it
computer
was
just for
dubbed the
editing and
Hovis method.
all
And I
that
went
other
after
stuff,
the guy who
I
came
guess
up
that'd
with the
be pretty
concept.
good for
What
me.
that means is this: every single Scorpio engine processor that comes off the production line has its own power characteristics. Well, because every piece of silicon is ever so slightly different. Rather than apply the usual one-size-fits-all power delivery system, every Scorpio motherboard is balanced with its specific processor. It helps to keep heat down and ensures peak efficiency. Now, of course, this is a big processor and it's still
Whoa, hey,
expensive. So
giving the
Microsoft
middle finger
spares no
there.
expense here in using a vapor chamber cooling
See,
assembly, very similar in design to the high-end
okay,
coolers
real quick
used.
before I lose the thought. Digital Foundry is kind of, they've been accused by some Xbox fanboys of being Sony fanboys. So I don't know, that little clip there. It's like it's funny. It's just funny, like how you could. The fanboys are gonna go, oh, did you see that? Even in the reveal of Scorpio, they were giving us the middle finger, or I don't know. It's funny.
Used on the GTX 1080 and 1080 Ti graphics cards. There are no vents on top of the Scorpio console. Heat is pushed out through the back of the machine via a large centrifugal fan. So here's the bottom line. Scorpio is very fast, not just in terms of overall performance, but specifically in its clock speeds. Microsoft has tried to keep heat generation down as much as possible via efficiencies in power delivery, and sorts out the heat that remains via a state-of-the-art cooling solution, one that I've never personally seen deployed on a mass-produced piece of consumer electronics hardware.
Uh-oh,
This, my friends,
that
is
sounds
hardcore.
expensive.
But there's actually even more to this story, much more. I'll be making more videos about Scorpio and its cutting-edge feature set as soon as I can, but what's clear from my visit is that the Xbox team obviously hasn't taken losing the performance crown to Sony lightly. This is the full force of one of the world's biggest companies focusing intently on producing the most powerful games console ever made. So
Yeah,
yeah, much more to this story,
I
much
guess
more
there's
to
nothing
come.
else they can
So
do
for example,
because
Microsoft really
even if
don't want
they put
talented
out
new
great games,
users
I
to feel
feel
left
people are
behind.
just
So all
so
Scorpio games will supersede
down with the
all down to
PS4.
1080p and full
Like
4K,
the
and
PS4,
all game modes,
it's got
high
the
performance, high
market down,
resolution, whatever. These will be available to all users regardless of their display. Now, this is something that kind of wound us up on PS4 Pro, won't be an issue on Scorpio. Game DVR gets a 4K 60 HEVC video upgrade too. And as for back compat, well, that's another huge story in its own right. But that's all I have for you right now. Look out for more Scorpio stuff coming soon. I'm excited and I think you will be too. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, this video really didn't, as like I said at the beginning, this video didn't give me exactly what I wanted, but it's a good start. You know, it's I guess they're saving everything for the big reveals for E3, like the price, the machine itself. Hopefully not though. Like that'd be great if they could show all that before. But nah, I think the final price, they're gonna reveal it at E3, and yeah, let's just have to wait for that. Um, well, thoughts, I guess. Well, like I said, they gotta convince me to either buy this or a GTX 1080 Ti, which I don't know. I'm so far I'm going for the Ti because I'm already I'm already pretty deep into the PC gaming, and switching consoles or switching platforms is just um, at least for your main consumption of games, it's pretty hard. Like at least for me, at least right now, because back in the day, like at least on the Xbox, the original Xbox and the PS2, GameCube era, and the next one, which was PS3, the 360, and I guess Wii, yeah. Well, in those times I was single and had all the time in the world, and and I was working later. I was either in school or working, so I was able to have all three no problem. But right now, it's pretty tight. I can't go like I don't have a Switch, for example. I I intend to get a Switch when Mario Odyssey comes out, so um, I'm just gonna put this video on top. Let's see.
Hey everyone, so a little while ago I flew over to the US to check out Project Scorpio at
So
Microsoft's
yeah, I'm looking
Redmond
at getting
HQ, and I saw a lot of cool stuff. For a
looking.
complete breakdown
Nah,
of the
I can't talk with this video on. No, I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm looking to getting a Switch later on. So there's that. There's just so many things to get and not enough time to play them. So I gotta choose my battles. It's not that easy. Um, but yeah, let's see how things turn out. Hopefully, Xbox can get a little more games that I'm interested in because as far as like for example, Halo Wars 2 came out and I was kind of excited for that, but there's so many other good games coming out that it was tough. I didn't go out and get that. Um, yeah, nothing much to say. I thought this was gonna be more exciting, really, but it's a good start. Like I said, it's not enough for me to already go into the Scorpio bandwagon, but a lot of Xbox fans out there I know are really excited. I mean, there's some Xbox only. If you're an Xbox only player, like if all you do is game on an Xbox, you're pretty much set. I know you're gonna go out and get one of these and you'll have a great time. Uh, if you're a PS4 player or a user, like who cares really? Like I don't see anyone owning a Pro right now and going, "Oh no, it's all over." Nah, not really. Come on, just it's just Xbox catching up. Really, it's not really anything too major. Like the internet sometimes needs to calm down and just play games on whatever machine you like best. And right now they're so similar, really. Like if you either own an Xbox or a PS4, you're doing fine. Like it's not like the PS2 days. Man, the PS2 days, if you only had a GameCube, for example, let's say you only had a GameCube, well, even if you only had a game, at any point, consoles have great games for them. Like I don't know, there's this. At least I fell for it because back in like I said, in the GameCube days, I gotta own all three consoles because I'm gonna be missing out on so many great games. And yeah, sure, you miss out on games, but is that the end of the world? Nah, man, don't sweat it. Just play games on whatever console you like or PC, whatever, man. It's all good. But yeah, this is a good start. Can't wait for E3. I want to do more videos like these where I react to stuff on like big news and stuff. I can't wait for E3. E3 is going to be pretty good. And like I said, say that's another thing. If the price of the Scorpio is let's say it's 400 bucks, just like the Pro when it came out, right? I'm guessing that's what they're going for. If it's 400 bucks and the games look as good or kind of like a 1070 or let's say 1080 or something like that. And the 1080 Ti is like what, 700 bucks? Yeah, I think I might go with the Scorpio because I'm always looking to upgrade and like I said, my computer could be just the machine that helps me make videos and stops being my main platform. The bad thing is that the deals on Steam, oh no, they're so good sometimes. And yeah, games on that's another big factor on it. Games on PC are just way cheaper than on a console. Console you end up paying like way more for games. But then the hardware is cheaper. It's yeah, so I really don't, you know, you would have to really do the math and see which one is better. But It's so it's tough. But anyways, I don't want to make this video any longer. But let's see, let's see what happens at E3.